Okay, so let me explain how you can send transactions using bloXroute's Cloud API. And to start off, let me show you a command that you can use, of course, that you can find on our company web pages on sending a transaction. So there are two important pieces for each transaction that you need to send that are unique to what you're sending. So basically, the first is the hexadecimal version of that transaction. So in this particular case, this example, you have some F8E something. This is a hexadecimal version of a transaction. Maybe I will explain how we can create that. And the second important version is the authorization snippet. So let me first start off with the authorization snippet. This is a short piece of data that enables you to send a transaction using Cloud API. So to get to that, here is a simple code how you can get to that. So basically, it is Python code that uses base64 encoding, and then you use two parts of information to create this particular snippet. The first part information is your bloXroute account ID, and if you remember, that is something that you obtained. This is the green part. This is something that you obtained when you were registering for the bloXroute account. And the second piece of information is a secret hash. And it comes with bloXroute artifacts that you should have downloaded. They live here. So here is secret hash. You can see it is 1C713 something. So let's go back here. Indeed, 1C713 something. So basically, let's run this code in an attempt and try to generate this authorization snippet for my case. So I'm gonna open my Python. So here I'm going to say Python 3, and then I'm going to say import base64, and then I'm going to copy this particular command, which again combines these two pieces of information that are unique to each user. And in my case, when I type that, I end up with this particular snippet with NZ something. I'm gonna copy that and put that in my file. I already did this before when I'm trying to do this, but in general, you need to save this. And so the best way to actually verify that the snippet that you just created is correct one is to run another command, which is a simple command to simply check what is the quota that you have with bloXroute. And hence this particular command, as you can see, utilizes this snippet as a queue for something. So let's see if we can do that. First, we're gonna exit the Python mode, and then we're gonna paste this command, enter, and see what it says. Aha, it works, which is great, and it's telling that because I have a professional account, my quota limit is 20,000 transactions per day. Today, I already sent one transaction, and this is what the system is telling me. But the great news is that I was able to immediately, quickly verify that what I have, that the authorization snippet that I'm using is actually a correct one. So let's move on to the second part of the problem, which is how, going back to this command, how to create a hexadecimal version of a transaction. Now, because I don't have any wallets on my current on my machine, the game plan for us is going to be, I'm gonna now go subscribe to the bloXroute transaction stream, pick up one transaction, parsed version of a transaction, and then I'm gonna explain how we can transform that parsed version of transaction into a hexadecimal version of transaction, and then we're gonna finally send this transaction to bloXroute. So let's go from the beginning. So going back to this, if you watched our video, and if you didn't, you should, on how to subscribe to our transaction stream, let's you simply run a simple script here, a simple program, test1.py. So I'm gonna enter here. And here we go. I'm already subscribed to the bloXroute transaction stream. So I'm gonna pick up, copy, paste one one transaction from that stream and put it here, right? We already did this before. So what is showing is a parsed version of the transaction. Parsed means it tells who generated this transaction, what is gas fee, and so on. And so the next thing that we need to do is we need to take the content of this particular transaction. I'm going to now copy it, Control C, and then I'm going to show you a code that helps you generate a hexadecimal version of a transaction. So here is that particular code. So in Python 3, we simply put the contents of a parsed version and then create raw bytes, which is simply converting this parsed version of a transaction into a hexadecimal version, which is what we need. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove this previous version of a transaction that I was working on, and I'm going to Control V here, which is I'm going to paste this current version that we just have, and then I'm going to run that in Python code in an attempt to get the hexadecimal version of this transaction. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to say Python 3, and then I'm going to invoke this command. I'm going to copy it, and then I'm going to paste it here. And we obtained the hexadecimal version of this transaction, which is this. I'm going to copy it and save it again in my file. So here what I have on top is the parsed version of a transaction, and here I have the hexadecimal version of the transaction. So now I'm going to go back to my original command and paste this hexadecimal version, and then we're going to send it to. So let's go back to this particular place where I'm going to replace the previous hexadecimal version of a transaction that I was sending, and I'm going to paste the one that I just created. So let's make sure that there are no white spaces here, and so now I'm going to copy this, Control C, and then I'm going to go back and try to send it. First I have to exit the Python mode, and then I'm going to paste this command where I'm actually sending this transaction that I just got from the bloXroute stream. I click enter, and there we go. It says that the transaction was sent, and it tells me that the hash of this transaction that I just sent is 02BF something. Let's check if that corresponds to 02BF something. So this corresponds. We were able to verify that the transaction that we just sent is actually everything went well, and we were able to do that. So this ends my presentation. In case you have any questions or need anything else, feel free to reach out.